Sports Blitz Live is on the air with full coverage of the Auburn Tigers,
Touchdown, Auburn!
the Alabama Crimson Tide,
Off to the inside, intercepted Alabama. Touchdown!
and everything college and high school sports. Now, let's join Andy, Brett, Randy, and Luke for this edition of Sports Blitz Live.
Hey, everybody. And boy, I don't know what camera I'm looking at here. Welcome into Sports Blitz Live. Brett will be joining me shortly. He has got a meeting he's going to right now. He should be here any minute. Want to thank all of you for joining us, and we will get this camera thing straightened out. This is the oddest feeling I've had in quite some time. Regardless, a lot going on today. The transfer portal has opened up for football, and that is certainly started out with a whimper, if you ask me. I think that everybody was expecting it to be fantastic, and it just turned out to be sort of meh. There's some players that we all know in there, if you follow recruiting, like Cormani McLean, who is the number one defensive back in the country. Last year, he signed with Colorado, kind of surprisingly. He's in the portal now. Alabama has a kicker in the portal that, frankly, I didn't know was on the team. Auburn's got a defensive player that's in the portal that, again, I didn't know anything about. So some things have happened in the portal, but nothing too terribly significant as of yet. Keeping our eye on it because it will go on for a little while longer. There are rumors that what will happen is once the NIL checks come in for some of these other guys, that they may be hitting the portal too. So that's what they're going to do now, is probably go from one school, wait for their check to come in from that school, and then move on. That's going to happen a lot in the coming days, I believe. So that's something to keep an eye on. Obviously, in basketball, the transfer portal is wild and woolly as well. Sam Walters has transferred out of Alabama. Aiden Holloway has transferred out of Auburn. He may be going to Alabama. He's going to be visiting the Tide here very shortly. Rylan Griffin.
We hope y'all get him.
Yeah, I'll take him.
We hope y'all get him.
Hey, Reed. There we go.
There we go.
I'm going to tell you, I'd be totally fine with it. I'm going to tell you, Brett, I like him. I do. I think he's a good player.
Yeah, all 2 points a game.
I mean, again, I think that.
I think he's a bust, but that's fine. Yeah, I do.
I understand.
Yeah.
I like him. I mean, I think he can be good. I think it was a bad fit. For whatever reason, it was a bad fit. It happens all the time.
I think he just got in a slump. And, I think he was given a lot of opportunities. I think Bruce Pearl wanted him to work. I think he really wanted Aiden Holloway to work. He started him a majority of the season. For whatever reason, it just didn't work out. Now, he may go to Alabama and burn the nets up. But, that happens.
Well, we have seen people have that kind of growth. So, again, I'm not –
right.
Look, I'll take him. I'm not, frothing at the mouth for him, but I will definitely take him.
But he is a five-star. He is a McDonald's All-American.
And, if you look at his high school stuff and look in high school competition, he plays – good players.
He to me, and we broke this down on all season. Nobody covered him, obviously, more than we did. He's an AAU superstar, but that doesn't translate to college, and he couldn't get separation from defenders. He couldn't get a shot, and I think a lot of times you see some of these guards, especially the ones that come through the AAU circuit, have all these skills. We see AAU games, Luke. You come across half court, nobody's on you. You can dribble the air out of the ball. You can pull up and hit a wide open three. You can do alley-oops and all that. It doesn't work like that in the college game. You're going to have intense defense in your face, somebody in your hip pocket. And the reason that he couldn't stay on the floor and he only got 12 to 15 minutes a game is because, man, his stat line on a nightly basis was 2 points, one assist, no rebounds, and 3 turnovers. And again, he's a young kid. I talked to Coach Pearl. I saw Coach Pearl after the Georgia game, after maybe Aiden Holloway's best game. And I said, "Where's that Aiden been?" And he said, "Brett, you got to remember he's a freshman." He was very complimentary of the things. He said, "I think Aiden's going to grow and get better." And kids a lot of times want to blame where they are rather than looking in the mirror and saying, okay, there's some things I got to work on, I got to get better doing. But then also in the same fact, Luke, sometimes a change of scenery is good.
And again, I just look back at his high school tape and think that he can be a very good player. We started out in the season against Baylor and he looked great. And then he would have some flashes every now and again, but he could never get his shot to fall. There's no doubt about that. But again, maybe a change of scenery is good.
Right.
We have seen it on a lot of occasions.
I wish the kid nothing but the best. I really do. So
I'm not sure that I know Alabama's also got some other guys on the campus this weekend. The transfer from Rutgers potentially. They've reached out to Boogie Fland, who just decommitted from Kentucky. It sounds like everybody's either left or decommitted.
5 or 6 from Kentucky that are out now.
Well, that one of them, the tall foreigner, I can't remember his name.
Yes, or whatever.
He has already committed to Arkansas.
Right.
I know that Arkansas has reached out to Boogie Fland and some of these other high-profile kids that were on Kentucky's team. Boy, I'm going to tell you, I just think Kentucky's in for a world of hurt. But, that's for a story for maybe beginning of basketball season next year.
Yeah. Who else? As I was coming in from another meeting, who else for Alabama do you think is going to leave?
Well, Rylan Griffin's going to be headed to Kansas, I think. That's something that seems to have been in the works for a while. And again, I'm like you. I mean, more power to him. I think he's a great player.
Right.
It's not. I don't think it, is debilitating. Look, at this point, you don't need to count on any one player for anything because they could all leave at any time.
Right.
But Mark Sears, I would say it's probably 51-49. He's headed to the league. I feel like he's probably going to end up in the draft. I have seen him mock draft in the first round in one mock draft. I've seen him in the second and several others. I would love for him to come back. I think it'd be awesome. But I just feel like in the end he might look at it like I've done all I can do in college.
Sure.
And that could be the case. Then Grant Nelson, I think we're all waiting on him. I really just haven't heard a thing. So I'm not sure about him. Sam Walters, already in the portal.
Right.
And again, I'm fine. I would have loved to have kept Sam Walters, but I can do without it. I think Alabama can recruit beyond it. They've got a kid from South Florida that just committed, a Tuscaloosa native that was player of the year in the AHSAA. So, look, I think that's a good pickup. Maybe takes a spot of Rylan Griffin. And, they also have Houston Mallett from Pepperdine, who they've got a while back. And they've got 3 very highly touted freshmen coming in. And so I'm still excited for the future. It's just, man, this turnover is so hard to keep up with.
That kind of leads me down the path I want to take. Everybody is a victim here, and you lose 2, you get 2, whatever. It's really, I'm numb to it. I mean, I was in a group text earlier today, and there were some rumors about some football players leaving and some from other schools. And I'm like, does anybody really care anymore at this point? I mean, it really is exhausting. I'll use Alabama as an example in basketball. You just played in the Final Four. And isn't that the goal? I mean, isn't that the goal to be part of a program that can get you to it's like, and Aiden Holloway just won an SEC basketball tournament championship. He's got the trophy and the confetti and happy and doing the snow angels on the court and all. And then as soon as the season's over, he's nowhere to be found. I mean, what makes these guys happy? I mean, look,
money.
Well, I understand that. I get it. But you know what? That's going to burn out one day. You can't just keep chasing. And I talked to somebody the other day in a pretty high-up situation. They said, we're doing these kids an injustice right now. There are thousands of kids that get in the portal that think their next option is going to be better. And a lot of times they don't end up anywhere. And they end up not going back to school. They lose their scholarship. They're out so what are they doing? Well, they have no plan. It's a broken system. It's pathetic. It's ruined the sports to me. I think we've all complained about it. There's no loyalty. Guy catches a game-winning touchdown for your team against a rival, and the next year he could be on that team scoring a touchdown against you. I mean, it's just ruined, in my opinion, until they sit down and decide how to stop everybody deciding to just free market, go everywhere they want to go. It's going to be what it is.
And it is difficult because if you're Aiden Holloway, take him for example, apparently, he got an NIL deal when he first got to Auburn, and then apparently, allegedly, this one was going to be less, which makes sense to me.
He didn't perform.
Maybe he was like, hey, I think I can, there are other people offering me more. And again, there is part of me that makes sense. There is another part of me that for the greater good of the sport, I think that it's sometimes you've just got to bite the bullet on something. You got to live with some decisions. Brett, and I'm not going to get political at all here, but what you're saying kind of reminded me of all the student loan forgiveness.
Right.
In the end, everybody talks about, well, it would help me so much.
Well, sure.
And if we knew for a fact that those people would take the money that they needed, to pay the student loans and invest it, or use it in their communities, or use it to actually make their lives better, or their family lives better.
Instead of blow it on crap.
But what you feel like, and again, we've seen this so many times, somebody prays for a windfall, they get it, and they blow it. And like you said, it is sort of an injustice that instead of sticking around, maybe getting a degree, knowing what to do with the money,
right,
some of them will chase the almighty dollar.
And how about the NIL dollars, Luke? Here, we'll take it one step further. A lot of the people that are giving money to the collectives NIL went to school, got their degree, opened a business, got a job, made money to give back to this so everybody can stick their daggum hand out. That's a problem too. I mean, yeah, you want to talk about, well, it should get this for this and name it. Okay, that's fine. What about all the people that did it the way we did it? Decided that we want to be donors of our school. And again, I know every path's not created equal, but student athletes were given a path, Luke. They were given a free education. Most of these guys don't have to pay a dime to go to school. They get all these free clothes. They get every meal paid for. They have no expense. But that wasn't good enough. That at some point in time, we diminished the value of a scholarship.
And as Pat Dye said, hindsight's 50-50.
Right.
But if we could have probably stymied all this some time ago if the NCAA had said, all right, here's what we're going to do. Now we're all making this organization and these universities and these coaches are making so much money. We need to take some of this money, set it aside for some kind of fund for these kids, after they graduate, or if they want to leave, they can take it any time. Sort of like a 401k.
Correct.
We could have done something like that. But we didn't. And everybody, again, now we look at the kids as being greedy, and I think some of them are. But for a long time, it was the organizations and the universities being greedy. And just two wrongs don't make a right.
What happens when you give, and again, this is not a shot on anyone particular, I'm just using a hypothetical, but we can apply these to real life situations. People, and I do too. Somebody that is a great athlete that doesn't come from much, and all of a sudden they're handed all of this. They've never had it in their hands before. And, man, you are literally setting somebody up for failure. They have no guidance.
It's like winning the lottery and then getting a lump sum, and you have no plan for what to do with it.
That's right. Oh, I just got all this money. I'm just going to go do whatever I want to do every single day for the rest of my life until it runs out. And, we see all those stories all the time about people going broke, winning the lottery. I mean, it's wild to think that you can blow $50 million, but you can if you don't have a plan, if you don't do things the right way, and you got 800 people that all of a sudden want to be part of what you're doing, and they want a piece, and they got to have this, and you're helping them, and you want to be generous. I mean, look, I don't know what the average NIL deal. I'm just going to say, let's just say it's $50,000, and then let's say everybody got a car. All right, so you get a brand new car and you get $50,000 in cash, and you give that to a mass majority of 17, 18, 19-year-old kids. I don't care what background they come from. What's going to happen to that $50,000? It's going to be gone. And then all of a sudden it's like, well, crap, that's gone. What else I got? Well, you got this car over here that you got to put the gas in. You got to take care of now. And there's just you're not helping kids make good decisions.
And it is funny because I've been looking, I'm on your side. I will say this. I talked to somebody. I'm not going to go into names because I don't want anybody calling up and telling me how wrong I am. This is secondhand, but it's pretty close to firsthand, right? A former Auburn player who is very well known. You know what he basically does now? Appearances. And he didn't do anything in the pros.
Right.
Really wasn't that great in college for the most part.
Right.
But great enough in a couple of instances. And he makes a very, very strong living, like much more than you and I combined times 2.
Right.
Just making appearances, signing autographs, being at places, maybe giving a pep talk to somebody, whatever.
Sure.
And again, it's that's what NIL should be to me, and he's doing it after the fact too.
You're exactly right.
But part of it is also, I don't even know if he has his degree, frankly. But at this point, he probably doesn't even need it. I mean, he's doing it just on his name, image, and likeness.
Right.
Now, if he plays his card right, if he's making this much money for 5 to 7 years, he may never have to work again.
Right.
And so here's hoping he is. But I'm just saying that it's so difficult to. I'm really torn about this because I understand where the kids are coming from. I understand they felt like free labor, which they weren't. They weren't free labor. They felt
again.
like
I think that was so.
But when the money got so big, they were the ones that nothing else really grew for them. Now the facilities they had to work in were great, but they didn't own any of that.
No, exactly.
And the food they got to eat for the most part was better, but things like that, and they maybe had more notoriety. But
and without those programs,
we
they
should have done
play.
something to like a 401k, like and that if you want to withdraw some of this early, you can, but there is a slight penalty.
Sure.
And again, these are life lessons. I'm not trying
Absolutely. No,
to
you're
put
right.
anybody behind the 8 ball
that they don't know about.
But
That they don't know that there's a penalty. How do you know? Well, you got to get taught.
And again, I'm not trying to be political, so nobody tell me how wrong I am because I see both sides of this too. But it is sort of like the student loan forgiveness. I see the positives. I see that it could really help some people. But there is part of me that goes,
But what about the rest of the people that paid their student loan?
There is part of me that goes, if you signed up for a degree in 1800 Russian literature and you are wondering why you can't get a job, well, you shouldn't have done that. Now, part of me also says the college shouldn't let you do that.
That's exactly right.
But again, there's nobody's learning a lesson if we always bail everybody out, if we always just give. You have to. That's how we build a society. So we're trying to, and that's how we
learn
build a
from
sport.
your mistakes. Yeah, you do. I mean, and I'm not saying that. But it's almost like the people that try to do it the right way, Luke, get punished. It's like the people that want to go out there and get a student loan and they know the magnitude of an education, how important it is that they're willing to work jobs, get a loan, do everything they can, and have a plan to pay it back because that's what you're supposed to do.
And then you wonder why you do it.
And then you go, I had somebody tell me this the other day, and we got to get to break. Hey, I'm just going to take all the loans out I can for my kid to go to school. And I just hope there's another bill that comes along that just gives forgiveness. Why would I pay my own money? Because the interest rates are so low on a student loan, you can help your kid pay it back or whatever when they get out and get a job. But he's exactly right. Why in the world would I put my money, actual money, into an education right now when I just use a loan program, and at worst I can pay it back over X number of years at a very low interest, but I might get it forgiven, and I don't have to pay a dime of it back.
Yeah.
So that's what the people are doing out here now, and that's just playing the system. But I do feel for all those people that actually did it the right way. I know they've got an argument too. They want to come back and say, okay, you're forgiving all these people. Well, what about us that paid? Do we get a stipend back? Do we get some kind of, reimbursement for us? I mean, are we just, okay, y'all are good stewards of what you do, and I'm sorry you just lost out. You're penalizing the people that are trying to do things the right way. And again, it kind of goes back to the way the NCAA runs. They don't have any control, and they don't have any rules, and everything is just wide open for whatever. So, but we're up against our first break. Stay tuned. More to come right after this.
Sportz Auto Sales, Highway 280 in Kellyton, Alabama, is home-owned and home-operated. If you're looking for tires, they have it. If you're looking for a vehicle, they have them. Great selection. Always out looking for more just for you, the customer. And if you're looking for service, whether you buy the vehicle from them or whether you buy the vehicle somewhere else, they do service work and got a great crew there. Keep us in mind. Don't you go by Sportz Auto Sales on Highway 280 in Kellyton today.
What's the verdict?
Can't fix your heat pump. Need a new one.
Uh-oh. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking Daikin.
Call on Kevin Kill in Sunshine Heating and Air at 256-825-5600 4849, Central Alabama's premier Daikin dealer.
So what's he thinking?
Oh, he's thinking Daikin.
Daikin, one of the top selling in the world.
Now I'm thinking Daikin.
Daikin. Comfort for life.
If you're seeing the American cockroach, throw up the red flag. Ladybugs, throw up the red flag. Ants and swarming termites, throw up the red flag. And kudzu bugs, throw up the red flag. That's Red Flag Pest Control. So the caution is on. Call Red Flag Pest Control today.
I'm Scott Davis with Red Flag Pest Control. Call me today, 256-825-0430.
Russell Do-It Center and building supply stores have the tools and materials to get the job done right, whether you're a professional contractor or just a weekend do-it-yourselfer. With everyday customer conveniences like a drive-through lumberyard, price match promise, and our Best Rewards program, each of our 9 locations offer top brands and building materials like lumber, hardware, tools, paint, lawn and garden, and much more. Visit today and see what Russell Do-It Center and Building Supply can help you build tomorrow.
Hello, I'm Karen Chanel, your State Farm agent in Alexander City, Alabama, and the greater Lake Martin area. I want to talk to you a little bit today about your discounts. How many of you are entitled to discounts that you may or may not be receiving? One of the easiest discounts on your homeowner's insurance is that of having a fire extinguisher. Coupled with a deadbolt lock and a smoke alarm, that gives you an automatic discount on your homeowner's policy.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area a team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
Welcome back, everyone, to Sports Blitz Live, presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. Again, it seems like all of our conversations revolve around NIL. It gets exhausting. I'm exhausted from it, really, to be honest with you. I mean, it just everybody hightails it out. I think we got a phone call. Is that one for us, Reed? Yes, sir, it is. Okay. I get the head nod. Let's go to the Eric McKinley Mortgage Pro Hotline. Welcome in our first call. Caller, go ahead. Caller, you with us? I don't guess they are. So you call us back if you'd like. We would appreciate any of you that want to join us by phone, 256-234.
I feel like we ought to take 30 minutes or a segment or something and just do a class on calling in.
I mean, you would think.
Not listening to your TV.
That's almost as frustrating as NIL.
I don't know. Hey, look, NIL, I don't really have to deal with. This I have to deal with.
This you have to deal with it. But, we all are fans of our schools, but it's not about the schooling. We want to keep the feeling going that they're there to play for our school. They're not there to play for Alabama. They're not there to play for Auburn. They're there to get to get to the next level or the best offer they can get. And if they don't like what they're getting, they'll get in the portal and leave. That's where we are with it now. I mean, kids nowadays can't pull for any certain player because if they've got an allegiance to that team, that player may be gone in 9 months and all somewhere else.
It really does make it hard to wrap your arms around somebody. And that's why I always find it funny when all these recruits say they went somewhere and it just felt like family. It felt like home. They really take care of me. Well, I mean, you're probably going to be gone. I mean, statistically, it's beginning to look like you are probably going to be gone.
That's exactly right.
I mean, and the other side of it, I guess, is like, would Mark Sears or Janai Broome even be considering coming back if there were no NIL? The answer to that is probably no.
Zero. Yeah, zero chance.
So,
no chance.
I mean, I guess that's a positive, but really, they also, neither one of them has made a decision, and either one of them could get in the portal and go somewhere else.
They've got all the options
So,
at their fingertips.
It's just it's scary because it is a sport we love, and change can always be scary. But boy, this is a massive amount of change in a very short period of time.
I mean, everybody just braces for the dang portal to open up. I mean, it's almost like the coaches don't even know. A lot of times, they may have an idea on a few guys, but then there's guys that I don't think Auburn's coaches thought Trey Donaldson was going to get.
Well, I know they wanted him back, but I mean, either he.
But they had met with him
a better deal,
basically on Tuesday and discussed, and nothing was shown. And then on Thursday, he gets in the portal and didn't tell anybody. I don't know what the reasoning is behind that. I thought Rylan Griffin was probably the most dangerous player on Alabama's team this year from outside, even more than Reitzel. And then he helps them go to a Final Four, and as soon as the season is over, he's in the portal going somewhere else. I mean, I can't fathom it other than you got outbid. And again, if that's what we want to have, then all the schools with the deepest pockets are going to make the most money. So or have the best chance, I guess, of making runs. Go back to the phone line. Caller, go ahead.
All right. Well, I got a question for you.
Okay.
If you give a player $50,000 play for Auburn, and all right, he change around and go to Alabama, has he got to give that money back to you or just keep his money?
Keep his money.
I think he keeps his money.
Well, I tell you what, you could go from school to school and get all kind of money.
I think a lot of them are doing that.
I think some are trying to figure out exactly how to do that.
I tell you what, that'd be the kind of job I'd be working on.
Eventually, you'll run out of eligibility, though.
Well, and eventually somebody will catch on and be like, "Hey,
yeah, right.
We're not falling for this again."
Fool me once.
But that's what I said earlier when I had opened up solo. That's what a couple of folks have tweeted about. Like, look, the transfer portal hadn't been as dynamic as some people thought it would be today, or as explosive. But
they went to.
Go ahead.
When they went to that portal like that, when they went to that, they took all the sports out of the football games, basketball games. It ain't good no more.
I mean, it definitely takes some luster off. But like I said, so when the transfer portal opened and everybody was sort of like, this wasn't that big a deal. Some people have said, hey, some of these other kids are waiting for their NIL checks to get here to make sure they get them in clear, and then they'll get in the portal, which tells me, they get to keep the money and they get to move on if they want.
That's ridiculous. Hey, we appreciate your call,
That's wrong
brother.
by doing that.
It is. I totally agree with you. We appreciate your call, brother. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, have a good night, and appreciate your call, 256-234-6221. He makes good points. I mean, what part of that's right? We went from let's go back and talk about leverage for a second. If Auburn and Alabama don't exist, I'm using them as an example. Where are these guys going? And that goes for every college. Where are they going to play? Well, where are they going to showcase their talents? They've got the leverage. There has to be, and I'm going to keep saying this on this show until we're all blue in the face and just die lack of oxygen. Something's got to change, man. I'm telling you right now, if I'm a donor and I'm giving money to a collective and I give it to Petey over here, and Petey decides to take my $50,000 and go somewhere else after he plays 1 year, I got a problem with that. And there's got to be some mandates that kind of come down for that.
I think the only way you fix it is you make it so the schools pay the players, and that way you do away with the collective essentially. You just say the school's going to pay the players. They become employees.
Well, didn't they just create the collective because they're trying to appease the stupid NCAA? That's really where
they just don't want the school to be the collective. I mean, look, it's all a bunch of end-around stuff that's dumb. But then they're employees. Then obviously they could unionize, which opens up a whole other set of issues.
Right.
And can you imagine this? You're in a union with a football coach, and the football coach says, "Give me 2 more laps." Nope, I'm not going to do it. Talk to my union rep. or whatever. I mean, I maybe I'm going hyperbolic here. I'm just saying.
You can do what you want to do, I guess.
It's just. I know as somebody that played sports, and I had the pleasure of having some good coaches in my time, and the best coaches were the ones that were hardest on you. I thought that were hard on you, and then you later realized, oh, I see what you're doing now.
Right.
Like in the moment, you might not have realized it, but you were young and you were stupid. But later on in life, you realize, oh, I see what's happening now, and it feels like nobody wants to go through that. Now, I shouldn't say nobody wants to go through that, but there is a fraction of people.
Again, how many people at Alabama and Auburn, prior to all this crap happening, had bad days at practice, maybe had a bad month, and they were like, you know what, I wish I could get the heck out of here. But by being held to a scholarship letter or whatever, fought through it, became a better person, became a good player for that university, and now is endeared to that university. But you know what? They had a rough spot in their career at that school, but there was no exit for them to take their ball and just go home.
What if there was a transfer portal during the Junction Boy days?
Everybody would have left.
I mean, can you imagine?
I mean, right. I mean, there's no telling. What if Bo Jackson, Bo Jackson had to run stadiums. Pat Dye made him run stadiums because he did. What if he said, nah, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to transfer to wherever. Again, the whole deal of building a legacy and the reason statues are put in front of stadiums is because you had people that bought in and they were there through thick, through thin, through good, through bad, all of that kind of stuff. Now we've created a generation of when it gets a little bit tough, I'm just going to pack up and leave because somebody else wants me to come play for them. And then they get there and things don't go their way, and they pack up and they leave and go somewhere else from there. And again, we've seen certain players that have been to 4 or 5 schools, and at some point in time you really need to look in the mirror and go, it probably isn't the schools. It's probably me. And I know that Aaron Estrada for Alabama, what was he at? His 4th school? Then he played at 4 schools?
I don't remember. I know he was at Hofstra. I can't remember.
Hofstra, Oregon, another smaller.
Oregon
another smaller school, and I think Alabama was his 4th stop in 4 years. I mean, good God, dude.
Never stopped.
I mean, you just keep on rolling, and again, I think there's always situations that predicate somebody leaving a place. You shouldn't be held to something that's a bad situation. You can get a waiver and do all that kind of stuff. But just the fact that when the season is over, I'm going to get in this portal and start weighing my options. You can't even do that in the pros, Luke. Dude, you have contracts you have to be beholden to.
I think that's what it may come down to. And then if you start to get to that, it did make me wonder. I've always felt like, there have been some people that especially when Alabama and Georgia were dominating the most in recruiting, they were like, we got to level the playing field. We should have a draft. And I thought, you can't have a draft for schools because you can't tell somebody where they're going to, go to school. That's just not right. Okay? In the pros, I get it. But for your education, if you're in Oregon and Auburn makes you their first pick, what if your family's like, I don't want you to go to Oregon. You're 18 years old. To Auburn, you're 18 years old.
Yeah.
Been here. I get it. But now I'm starting to come around to the idea that, well, if they're going to be essentially professionals and we're going to have contracts, maybe that's what we should do is have a draft.
Maybe
now,
so.
I mean, that's sort of – it'd be impossible to pull off too many schools, too many kids, too many everything. And the draft would take the entire year.
Right.
But, I mean, we got to do something. And, again, it's slipping away in a sense to me, the whole idea of it, the fondness that I have of it. And maybe this is the way that life just is. I'm so much more nostalgic about, through all Nick Saban's teams, and I loved all the championships, loved going to all of them. But like 92, when I was at Alabama, and that team was doing what it did, and it finally did what it did against Miami, man, I'll never forget that. And it holds such a special place in my heart. But, now it feels like, it's hard to – I enjoyed going to the Final Four as much as anybody, and I'm so proud Alabama went. But I look back on it, and I'm like, well, there were so few players from the previous year on this one, and now there'll be so few players on the next year's from that one.
What do you have to hold on to?
I mean, there's just
it was a fleeting moment in time now.
It's going to be interesting to see how many players will still be on who you could say have been on the roster the year before Alabama went to the Final Four with Brandon Miller and their number 1 seed in the NCAA tournament, then go to the Final Four, and then next year. I wonder how many.
That's a good point. I mean, I agree with you. Jim said the player from Bama that went to Iowa, Caden Proctor, and came back, said he read where Iowa gave him $100,000 to come back, and he's keeping it. So
sure, again, there's nothing.
He didn't even get up there good, and he left.
I'm not saying it's the right thing to do.
It's absolutely
I'm saying
not the right thing to do.
You can do it. There's no legal reason to give the money back, and there ain't going to be a player on God's green earth that say, you know what?
Oh no, I'd take a free $100,000. Yeah. I'll go back home for $100,000, and I'll come right back to the school that I played for. I mean, but again, what are we teaching? At some point in time,
it's a terrible lesson.
It's horrible. I mean, you're teaching people to be nefarious, to encourage them to do things the wrong way, to not have any morals, to not have any ethics. Maybe nobody gives a crap anymore. I think that's, in general, that's what our society is now. You look at every phase. It's like, I'm going to get mine however I got to get it, and whoever I've got to step over and step on to get there, who cares?
And I'm on your side again, but I have to preface this, that it's funny, on Pat McAfee, either today or yesterday, Charles Barkley was on there. Did you see the interview?
I did not.
It was good. I mean, Charles Barkley is always a fantastic interview. But they brought up Dirk Nowitzki, how Charles saw Dirk Nowitzki. They played Germany or something when Dirk was 18. Scottie Pippen was guarding him, and he had 30 at half. And Charles was like, what in the world is this kid? And he goes up to him afterwards and says, hey, what's your deal? He's like, I'm 18. He goes, my God. He said, how'd you like to go? He said, if you go to Auburn, I will pay you to go to Auburn. And he's like, nah, I think I'm going, I got to go in the Army. He said, you're not going in the Army? You're 7 feet tall. But my point is that, see, all this stuff, and we all know what was going on in the background, even way back when.
Right.
But now it's so prevalent and so wide open, you thought that it would be better, that if you exposed all this to the light, that things would get better and people would do the right thing. No, it's gotten 10 times worse. Yep. I sort of liked it better when Charles Barkley would have paid Dirk Nowitzki to go, and all we had to go on was rumor.
That's exactly right.
I like that way better.
Yeah. Sometimes you don't want to roll back the cover and see what's under there.
Brett, I've said this forever. Ever since we've gotten involved more with this show and Locked on Bama, AHSAA Radio Network, and all that stuff, sometimes I get to see things that
you don't want to see.
Man, I wish I didn't know that.
Right.
Like, and everybody gets a kick out of exposing your heroes. Like, every now and again, let me just think they're a good person. I don't need to know they're a bad person.
I think that's why everybody tried to dig through Tim Tebow so hard. They just said, there's no human this good. And, people took every shot. And again, he's not perfect. I'm sure he could tell stories of things he's not happy, not proud of. But for the most part, he took assault after assault, and nobody could ever find anything of any dirt or any merit to get him on. So they just quit bothering him. He became non-interested. So I don't know. It's sad, man. Again, we knew things went on behind the scenes. Now that it's open, wide open for everybody to just do whatever. Look, it's fine if you want to expose and do things within the rules. If you have some rules to kind of regulate how things are done, that's one thing. But you just said NCAA got pissed because the courts ruled against them for the 420th time, and they just said, we're just not going, who cares? Y'all just go do whatever you want to do. And now they've created this crap. And now you got teams from the dismantled Pac-12 playing in the ACC and in the Big Ten, and you got Big 12 teams playing in the SEC. The conference names don't even mean anything anymore.
Well, and here's another thing. It is funny you say that. The NCAA, is lack of leadership, right? And it has a trickle-down effect. So the NCAA doesn't really – first of all, the Supreme Court, and again, probably rightfully so, they say, hey, you can't do what the NCAA is doing. You just can't do this. So the NCAA says, okay. They throw their hands up. So the universities are like, okay, this is great. Now we got control. And then they don't really have control because now the players have the control.
Right.
You understand? I mean, it's like it's gotten worse on every level, and it all starts at the top. And we needed better leadership a long time ago, and the NCAA was making so much money they thought, we don't even really need leadership. This is just a cash machine.
How does that work out for you? You get what you get. Okay, we're way past time to get to break, but Blake said it's all out of control. It is. I mean, it really is. They've taken the best thing in the world to us sports fans, especially in the South, college football and then basketball, and they've ruined it. And then you've got baseball here in the state of Alabama. You got Auburn and Alabama. Auburn's having one of their worst seasons ever. Alabama's mediocre in the league, but Auburn and Alabama will always be at a disadvantage in this league because of the way it's set up. 11.7 scholarships for baseball is about stupid. Look, and I know where the number comes from. It comes from Title IX. Well, heck, give the women more stuff. I mean, quit trying to go by. We want to enforce these rules over here, but then we want to let it be Wild West over here. It's so hypocritical all the way around. The bottom line is they have no control. And they want to adhere to these old standards, 11.7 for baseball. You can't even field a pitching staff with 11.7 scholarships, Luke. And then when you got NIL and you got all these other supplemental scholarships from Georgia and Tennessee and Mississippi and Florida and Louisiana, and Auburn and Alabama have nothing, then you're going to be at a disadvantage. But our fans expect Auburn and Alabama to win. And they expect them to win at the highest level in baseball.
You brought up a good point because about baseball. When I left the office to come here, Auburn was up 8-0 after one inning. It's 8-7 Auburn over Georgia Tech now. When I left, Alabama and UAB were tied at 2. UAB's now up 4-2 in the fifth.
That's what you deal with, man.
And I mean, these are two teams Auburn and Alabama should beat. And
probably won't beat either one of them. I mean, we were sitting here this time last week. Auburn narrowly escaped with a win, and Alabama lost. No, both of them lost. Auburn lost to Alabama State 3-2, and Alabama lost 5-4 to South Alabama. I mean, same song. We're back in the same situation. So, all right, we got to get to break. Stay tuned. More to come right after this.
Hillaby Towers is an affordable senior citizens community located in Alexander City on Highway 22 East. Spacious one-bedrooms are available now. Great location, peaceful setting, comfortable living where pets are allowed and utilities are included. Call today to find out more information on Alexander City's best-kept secret, 256-329-0552. That's Hillaby Towers in Alexander City.
Sign Source is your local vendor for commercial and residential sign manufacturing and installation. We offer all kinds of lighted and non-lighted signage, from retail signs, LED message centers, event banners, vehicle wraps, the whole spectrum. We also offer service and repair on existing signs, as well as retrofitting to LED or installation of outsourced signage. We have the knowledge necessary to fulfill all of your signage needs in the short or long term. Visit signsourcenow.com to get started.
Satterfield Outdoor Living is Lake Martin's trusted friend for your outdoor land and leisure needs. We're the region's authorized Skag mower dealer for residential and commercial lawns and offer all the small engine accessories you need with top lines of Steel, Echo, Shindaiwa, Husqvarna, and Metabo products that can tame any landscape. Satterfield is also your grill headquarters with Big Green Egg Grill, and our pros service everything in-house and back up all sales. Get the Satterfield Outdoor difference on Highway 280 right across from Tallapoosa Ford.
You want the best opportunity to be successful in life. You deserve that opportunity. Well, you just happens to be in our motto, central to you, central to your success. Your future is right now. Don't wait. Make your dreams a reality by enrolling at Central Alabama Community College. Register today at cacc.edu.
There's a new standard for the marine industry on Lake Martin, being set by Momentum Marine Lake Martin. Momentum Marine is located at the Blue Creek Bridge on Highway 49 South. Stop by soon and meet Les and the staff. While you're here, take a look at our extensive line of boats. Momentum Marine carries Crest, Manitou, Centurion, Monterey, and Robalo boats. Whatever your boating needs or dreams, the pros in Momentum will help you find the perfect boat. Be sure to ask about our brand new rental fleet. Stop by Momentum soon and experience the difference. Let Momentum Marine show you how to experience freedom on the water.
Alex City Internal Medicine and Nephrology and Weight Loss Center provides optimum care for the whole person. Dr. Dimo Popov specializes in the prevention and diagnosis of high blood pressure, kidney disease, diabetes, and acute and chronic conditions. Our weight loss clinic offers lipo shots and a guide to healthy weight loss. Alex City Internal Medicine and Nephrology and Weight Loss Center, where lifestyle changes are made.
Welcome back, everyone, to Sports Blitz Live, presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. A couple segments left here on the first hour. Look, I don't know that in the history of 18 years of this program, Luke, we've ever really talked about the WNBA other than a passing, hey, are they still playing? Well, last night, the WNBA draft kind of got wall-to-wall coverage, and you know, the popularity of women's college basketball has skyrocketed. And, you know, Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese and South Carolina for 2 years in a row now, making they didn't win it last year, but got beat by that Iowa team, and they finished an undefeated season. There's just a lot of excitement and hype around women's basketball. And then the WNBA drafts, everybody that doesn't really know anything about it was tuned in and like, man, I can't wait. Caitlin Clark goes number one. Oh, I bet she gets paid, a couple $1 million. And then it came out today that her combined 4-year contract's $338,000. She will get paid $76,535 in actual salary this year from her team, and it'll go up a little bit every year for the next 3 years after that. But, Luke, it was like, okay, did they leave a zero off of that?
Well, because we're used to seeing something different.
Correct. We're used to – and again, it was out of sight, out of mind. And let's just be honest, it's not a knock, but the WNBA, their ratings are horrific. And I remember sending y'all a text last year or year before with a picture of one of the WNBA players that made the All-Star team, and her numbers were horrific. Like, she made the All-Star team? Like, who else made it? If she got in, I mean, I hate to see the rest. And it's like, so it has exposed the fact that the number one draft pick of the WNBA only got $76,000. Now, she's going to get endorsements because she's Caitlin Clark and all that. But like you said, the number 2 girl, and Angel Reese, that got drafted at 7, They have some notoriety because of their popularity and some things they've done, but for the most part, man, that is like so far skewed based on every other professional salary that we're used to.
It is, and when on the surface when you look at it, you're like, wow. But I think that now is the opportunity for it to balloon. I mean, if they capitalize on Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese and Cardosa, and they capitalize on these people that we know from college coming in, and if they can boost, there are only 12 teams, I think, in the WNBA. So, and this thing is subsidized by the NBA. I mean, without the NBA, there is no. So, I mean, you can say, hey, why do they get so little? I mean, for a long time ago, when the NBA was in its infancy, those guys weren't making a killing either. No. Same thing with the NFL. They took them a while to build up. So why should the WNBA just automatically get, my wife and I talked about this a while back, that she was like, I think they should be making the same. I was like, so you think Caitlin Clark should make $30 million a year?
LeBron
I mean,
James?
Because, I mean, she doesn't generate that much. It just doesn't generate any money. Now, it may begin to, and I hope it does. I'm for it. I'm not anti, but I'm saying this goes back to what we're talking about, Brett, that you're just like, just give it to me, because I also play basketball. I'm also very good, and I play on the women's side. You should give me the same as a man. Look, I would feel the same way if it were gymnastics or whatever in a sport that women dominated in and that men. I can't name any male gymnasts.
No, neither can I.
I mean, I can remember some female gymnasts through the years.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Livy Dunn is making as much money as anybody in college right now.
Right, whether she's good at gymnastics or not.
But I'm saying
she made all her money off prancing around on Instagram.
But again,
but she took advantage.
Without the gymnastics, she doesn't even have that platform.
Right.
So, and
well, I don't know, influencing now on social media. I mean,
sure, but
if you got good looks and stuff,
but
I mean, you can.
Beautiful women on Instagram are a dime a dozen. Beautiful women who are incredibly talented at their sport.
No doubt. That's you have,
and charismatic are different. Now, going back to Caitlin Clark, she could have come back to school and probably made more in NIL. Definitely made more. Now, she will make a lot in endorsements. She's already been on Saturday Night Live. She is sort of a household name. And there are some people, for whatever reason, some of the old guard in the WNBA seem to really just like be poo-pooing her. And I'm like,
oh, they're mad. They're pissed.
I'm like, look.
You don't think Bo Jackson and Bobby Humphrey and all look at college football now and go, God, how much money could I have made?
And again, I get that, and they have an argument.
They sure do, but that was different times.
But do you think that Red Lloyd, who started Auburn, looked at Bo Jackson and goes, man, I had to work. I had to go to school, practice, and have a job.
Exactly.
You know?
I mean, it's different times and different things. And, yeah, look, it's hard to compare generations.
And it's better. And, again, we almost sound like hypocrites to a degree because we're saying, okay, things get better as you go along. But the tremendous jump from, getting, a free education, and then maybe you get some better facilities, you get some better notoriety, and then you get $2 million a year on top of that, and all of a sudden you don't really have to listen to your coach, and you can transfer whenever you want to. That seems like just a giant leap from where you were.
And, we'll look back at this. Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese will look back in 20 years if things go like you're saying and go, crap, I'm the all-time scoring leader, and I got $76,000, and now girls are signing $2 and $3 million contracts to go play in the same sport that I helped build the popularity. Like Ted Williams and Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig and Mickey Mantle. I mean, some of the best baseball players ever. They didn't sniff the amount of money that Shohei Ohtani makes.
Michael Jordan didn't make as much money as LeBron James by a long shot in basketball.
Right. Now, his shoes are what made him the most of his money. But you're exactly right. I mean, it's different generations. It's different.
I bet you basketball-wise, I mean, I'm trying to think of somebody now who's pretty good, but not even in the same, like, elite caliber. Right. I mean, like a very good NBA player who doesn't make the All-Star team can make $20 million a year now.
So Russell Wilson tweets out Caitlin Clark's picture with the 4 years of salary. And he said, these ladies deserve so much more praying for the day.
Well, I mean, do you know how they make it, Russell? The way they make it is you start watching it.
I agree. I mean, or him start donating.
Yeah, I mean,
it's simple.
It's not just, hey, they play pro basketball and we play pro basketball. There are levels to pro basketball, just like there are levels to college basketball. If you go watch, I'm going to tell you something. Yesterday I played basketball with two guys that played at Birmingham Southern not too terribly long ago. Now they can't go to the reunion, I don't guess, because there is no more Birmingham Southern.
That's exactly right.
And they're really good players. They're very good players. They're better than most everybody playing pickup. But every now and again, a guy that, played either pro football or, maybe spent some time overseas will come in and he can blow their doors off.
Right.
Because there are levels to this thing. And again, I'm not saying women are less than men by any stretch.
No, at all.
I'm saying you just get paid what you're worth. And they are not generating the revenue to command those killer salaries. But because of trailblazers like Caitlin Clark, like Angel Reese, they may get there. Now, Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark may not be the beneficiaries, just like Larry Bird and Magic Johnson and Michael Jordan trailblazed for today's game, where guys who aren't that great, who might not even made a team back then, are getting $20 million a year to sit on the bench. Steph Curry makes, $50 million a year?
Yeah, right.
I mean, that's his salary. That's not to do anything with his endorsements.
That's exactly right.
And
I mean, it's
Michael Jordan never came close to that number.
You cannot cross compare generations. and errors of we always say who was better. I mean, was Ty Cobb better than somebody playing today? Well, you can't compare them because the tools that they had and the things that they played with are totally different than what players play with now, and they didn't have performance enhancing drugs
cork in the bat.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, now they did. Now Ty Cobb was ruthless and he did all kind of crazy stuff, but for the most part, the rules are different. The equipment's different. I know it's still a wood bat, but the wood bat in the 20s and the 30s ain't the same wood bat as it is in 2024. All right.
I mean, just Ben Hogan was playing with a different set of clubs. You watch a golf tournament now. Every commercial is, we have figured out a way for you to hit the ball 420 yards and stop on a dime. I'm like, is that even golf anymore? I mean, it's just
So the guys that played Augusta and the Masters years and years ago with wooden shafts, I guess, and some different things. I mean, in the way clubs, yeah. I mean, the technology has improved everything, but it's hard to compare Scotty Scheffler to Chichi Rodriguez or whoever you want to throw out there. They played at a different time, and so. Again, they're all good in their times. They all set records. They all did things.
When you look back at Chichi Rodriguez and Ben Hogan, they're putting with those putters that we give our kids now. Like
right.
Before,
it's just play golf course.
Now you got that. It's like a putter that like Ronnie Dangerfield had in Caddyshack.
Exactly.
It just tells you exactly where to hit it. You just
Yeah. I mean, it just again, I think people have good art, but again, going back to what we were talking about. The WNBA has gotten some attention, so it's gotten some legs on social media today and other talk shows. We're talking about it today. We've never spent this long talking about the WNBA, and the draft was I guess, more viewers than they've ever had.
2 million viewers. It's a big deal. Now, here's the one thing I implore you, WNBA. This is a chance for it to grow. Nobody wants, that's another thing. Nobody wants anything to grow organically anymore. We want instant gratification. We want everything we do to be brought on by steroids.
NIL.
Yeah. We don't want anything to get better. You don't want your relationships that you cultivate to take months and then you develop to love one another. Learn.
Right.
No, you want to meet somebody on Tinder. Are you hot? Okay, let's sort of go out for it. Now, it turns out I don't really like you.
Right.
I mean, so we don't want anything to cultivate. If the WNBA will let this thing grow on its own accord, I think it'll do fine. What I'm worried about is, and I don't even know if they have a players union. I assume they do. If they do, they say, you know what, we're just going to go on strike until we get our salary. And if I were the NBA, I'd say, don't throw me in that briar patch. I'm just throwing money at y'all fast as I can. Right. Now, just as soon as we're about to get it off the ground and make something happen,
somebody will screw it up.
Yeah, that's the problem.
They want it right now. Oh, we've got a little bit of notoriety. We need we're going to start making all these demands and stuff.
Yep.
And again, it goes back to the NIL. I mean, it was set up the right way. The pros, you go to the pros when you prove yourself in college. And you spend your time developing and all that.
And you get a deal when you prove yourself.
You get a daggum deal when you prove yourself. But now everybody wants $1 million coming out of high school. So talking about paying people, ridiculous amounts of money that haven't proven themselves. Well, what about a kid coming out of high school to college? I mean, giving $100,000 to Caden Proctor to transfer, to NIL to go up there, and you don't have to hold him. He doesn't have to be beholden to Iowa. He just takes a trip back home, collects $100,000, comes on back to Alabama. It's a pretty dang good trip. If you can get it, it's great. So anyway, up against the top of the hour break, and when we come back, we'll discuss a lot of this and more when we come back on the other side. Stay tuned.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice. Bice Motors.
76% of nurses say they went into the profession because they wanted to help patients. No matter the reason you decided to become a nurse, you have all the tools needed to advance your degree at Jacksonville State University. Our Master's in Nursing program is now offered fully online and can be completed in less than 2 years. You can customize a flexible course schedule so you can receive your advanced education degree all while working on the front line. JSU Nursing, your opportunity to advance your career and serve your community.
You've dreamed about the perfect house, a place to call your own, and a place to not only stretch out, but to grow. Auto Owners protects your house because to you, it's home. That's simple human sense. Happy to help, man. I was just over there talking to myself anyway.
Are you waking up in the morning with a sore jaw, headaches, maybe even ringing in your ears, all because you're grinding and clenching your teeth at night? That's exactly what was going on with me. That's when I found this, the Brux Night Guard. Now, the Brux Night Guard redirects the bite force away from the back teeth, reducing jaw pain while still protecting the teeth. This unique design is what makes Brux Night Guard different from all other traditional grind guards. Go to bruxnightguard.com and order yours today.
There's only one option for top-of-the-line aftermarket upgrades on your vehicle, and that's Frontline Outfitters. We offer quality parts, lift kits, custom wheels and tires, bed covers, step bars, and toolboxes that are installed by trained and skilled professionals, to custom powder coating with hundreds of colors and finishes, to the highest quality film for window tinting using state-of-the-art film cutting technology. Call Frontline Outfitters at 256-409-8100. Don't be in the back of the line. Put your vehicle at the front with Frontline Outfitters.
Hillaby Towers is an affordable senior citizens community located in Alexander City on Highway 22 East. Spacious one-bedrooms are available now. Great location, peaceful setting, comfortable living where pets are allowed and utilities are included. Call today to find out more information on Alexander City's best-kept secret, 256-329-0552. That's Hillaby Towers in Alexander City.
It's truck season at Glenn Smith Chevrolet in Opelika. Check out the powerful full-size and fully loaded Chevrolet Silverado LTZ. Discounted up to $13,000 off. Or the roomy midsize 3-row SUV Chevy Traverse. Discounted up to $6,750 off. And the perfect size Chevy Equinox up to $8,500 off. No payments until the end of summer. Over 350 new and used vehicles on the lot or on the way.
Get ready to smile.
Whether it's Lake Martin, Lay Lake, or Logan Martin, boaters from all over the state of Alabama come to Alex City Marine, just off Highway 280 in Alexander City, Alabama, because it's worth the drive. With the best deals on unbeatable Suzuki outboards, Manitou and Landau Tritoons, and a great pre-owned inventory while they last. Alex City Marine is the pros the locals know. And no matter where you're from, when you're here, you're local to us. Alex City Marine, just off Highway 280 in Alexander City, Alabama. AlexCityMarine.com.
They say we live in an age of big data, where computers and fancy algorithms are supposed to know you best. But at Country Financial, we know helping you own your future requires, well, something much bigger. Contact your local Country Financial representative and start planning for your future with a personal touch.
You don't have to ask who, what, or why. Who's Diner is the go-to place for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Conveniently located at the corner of Highway 22 and 280 in Alex City. Who's Diner offers the best meals and the best deals in town. Try our fresh, made-from-scratch pancakes, chicken salad, Philly cheesesteak, or the Who Burger. It doesn't get any better than who? Who's Diner, of course, on the corner of Highway 22 and 280. Who's hungry?
Main Street Family Urgent Care. Main Street Family Care offers a wide array of services that allows them to treat many conditions, and they also offer primary care. In addition to these services, they also offer DOT physical exams, lab testing, sports physicals, and vaccines. They accept most major insurance plans, including Medicaid. Main Street Family Care, open 7 days a week. Main Street Family Urgent Care. Heal better.
If you listen carefully, you'll hear the roads of Alabama calling. Tony Sarah Ford has your answer. Serving you for over 40 years with one of the largest Ford and pre-owned inventories in the state and the Sarah Promise. Right now, valued customers receive up to $4,000 on select 2023 F-150 trucks plus 1.9% APR or a new Bronco Sport for $393 a month plus $750 bonus cash. Alabama can be yours to discover in a new vehicle from Tony Sarah Ford in Sylacauga.
Welcome back, everyone, to Sports Blitz Live, presented by JR's Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air here in hour number 2. Again, we were talking about, let's go back. Alabama had their A-Day game this past Saturday. We talked about Auburn last week. Just your thoughts on the game and what stood out to you. I mean, I saw some of it. I saw some highlights of it. I didn't watch the game. I was on a trip this weekend, but just kind of your thoughts.
Love the running backs. Now, look, first of all, let's preface this by saying A-Day, spring games everywhere you don't take a lot from them.
Right.
But I did
Lane Kiffin and them have a hot dog eating contest at Auburn?
I think they had Joey Chestnut.
They did.
Yeah. I don't know. I didn't even watch any of that. Look, take even less from the Ole Miss spring game.
No kid.
So,
clown circus. So.
But I love the running backs. Jam Miller won the MVP. Justice Haynes didn't have a lot of carries, but he looked good. And then Richard Young, who I just assumed was like solid third string, he looked as good as either one of them. So I think Alabama's got a great plethora of backs. Then when you factor in that Jalen Milroe really couldn't run in the scrimmage, then I think that makes things even better because if you touch him, he's down. Ty Simpson looked pretty good. He's decided he's not going to transfer. That's wonderful news. You know, you need a backup quarterback. And look, a lot of people think he may end up overtaking Jalen Milroe. I'm not in that camp. Some people believe that. Jeremy Bernard, who was a transfer from Washington, much stronger than I thought he was, and he was excellent. I thought he had a shot to win the A-Day MVP. He didn't have a touchdown, but had some really big catches. Defensively, they looked a little lost out there sometimes, but I think part of that was we're just sort of going to play offense. This is sort of fun. Nobody wants to come there and see a defensive, I didn't really like the setup at first. The scoring system was this. If the offense scores, they just get the points. If the defense gets points by stopping the offense in a 4-down situation. There's no punts.
Right.
And then, of course, if they get a pick or whatever. And I didn't like it at first when it was 31-0 offense. I was like, if it ends up being 85-0, that's going to look bad. Well, then the defense started catching on a little bit because everything is kind of vanilla in these games. And it ended up being like a 34-28 game. Dre Kirkpatrick Jr. had a pick. It was nullified due to an offsides. But, that kid just, even though he wasn't super highly rated, he just has a knack for being where the ball is.
Did that in Alabama, Mississippi game.
He did. He had he had an interception, a fumble recovery, a block punt.
He had 3 turnovers.
Yeah, I mean, it's something crazy. So he's got a knack for it, and a little bit undersized, but it's going to be hard keeping him off the field, I think. Overall, happy nobody got hurt. I thought James Brockermeyer, again, as much as you can judge an offensive lineman, especially a center in this game, I thought he
going to have a chance this year?
Yeah, I think he will. I mean, let's see what Parker Brailsford ends up doing. He didn't play, obviously. And Caden Proctor obviously didn't play. I mean, he was at the game.
He was on the interstate coming.
Well, he was there in the stadium.
He got back just in time to catch
but he technically could not be in the transfer portal till today. So, it was fun, and I feel like there was a great crowd there. Good to see that for Kalen DeBoer. So I'm excited. I'm looking forward to next season. I really, really, really hate this time of year now, Brett, because there is nothing. Now, some people may love the NBA playoffs. It's really difficult for me to get into a 7-game series.
I really don't watch it till it gets to the final.
Yeah, it's got to get a little bit closer, and so I think that I really cannot stand this time of year. I mean, some people love the Masters. The Masters are pretty boring this year.
It really was.
And college baseball, okay, but Alabama and Auburn really aren't doing well. I mean, Alabama might make the tournament, And
Auburn's not going to.
Auburn's not going to make the tournament, and it's just sort of meh. But there's no college basketball, college football recruiting. I guess that's one thing that'll keep you on your toes as a transfer portal during these times. Is like, hey, I got to check the internet every day.
Yeah,
because you never know what's going to happen.
Somebody might leave your team. You might get somebody coming in. I mean, it's a little bizarre, but John said, yeah, it was very vanilla at Alabama's spring game, kind of backing up what you said. We talked about Auburn's spring game last week, and it was the same. You're not going to really see a lot out of either team. I thought, Peyton Thorne was fine. I mean, running backs only got a few carries. Some guys on defense kind of stood out. I thought Jaron Thompson looked pretty good. You got a lot of newcomers that aren't on campus, though. Obviously, Cam Coleman stole the show, but then you're going to have Perry Thompson and Malcolm Simmons and several other guys coming in the summer. So I kind of ran down the two-deep roster for Auburn on Auburn Blitz today and looked at that. But, that could probably change when some of these other guys get in here. So, I know Auburn's looking at some guys in the portal right now. Receiver, kid from Penn State just got in the portal. I think Auburn's very interested in him. Auburn had a kid leave today or get in the portal today, Brenton Williams from Opelika. He was a freshman last year, only played in 2 games. So he'll have an opportunity to move on and maybe probably play for a smaller school. Wasn't going to see much playing time, and especially with what Auburn has coming in on the defensive side of the ball. And I think, again, the portal is good for certain players. Maybe they had aspirations to play, and it's not going to work out, and they fall down the depth chart instead of standing over there, not getting anything done or progressing. They can go play somewhere and go play for a smaller school that'll definitely take them. I want to talk about we'll go ahead and take another break. We got to catch up. We come back, Luke, I want to talk about these conferences. The names don't mean anything. I think the Big Ten's got 18 teams now. So the SEC has 16. But geographically, the names don't mean anything. Will they change something with that moving forward? We'll even see these conferences in 5 years the way they are. So up against another break. Stay tuned. More to come right after this.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice. Bice Motors.
When driving, wear a seatbelt, not a filter. What? Alabama has a code of the road, and knowing it helps you follow it. This is a message from your Alabama Department of Transportation.
Dixie Electric Plumbing and Air has teamed up for the 4th year with the Food Bank of East Alabama and Montgomery Area Food Bank in an effort to reduce the high percentage of food insecurity within the Montgomery and Auburn communities. For every new Dixie Cares Plan membership that is purchased, Dixie will be donating 7 meals to partnered food banks. Last year alone, Dixie donated 13,356 meals. Our goal for 2024 is 15,000. Thank you for choosing Dixie.
If you haven't been to Big B Barbecue in Alex City, then you're missing the best barbecue around. Big B has everything from the best pulled or chopped pork, chicken, and beef to cheeseburgers and grilled chicken salads. Bring your friends and family out for a great dinner and sit outside on our beautiful patio, or sit inside and enjoy your meal by the fireplace. So come in and join us and enjoy the best barbecue in the area only at Big B Barbecue, located on Highway 22 West in Alex City.
Russell Do-It Center and building supply stores have the tools and materials to get the job done right, whether you're a professional contractor or just a weekend do-it-yourselfer. With everyday customer conveniences like a drive-through lumberyard, price match promise, and our best rewards program, each of our 9 locations offer top brands and building materials like lumber, hardware, tools, paint, lawn and garden, and much more. Visit today and see what Russell Do-It Center and Building Supply can help you build tomorrow.
Hi, I'm Jimmy Gorey at Gorey's Furniture. Come join us for the Madness of March.
Come join us here at Gorey's Furniture. Make a purchase, shoot from the line, 5, 10 to 15. That's % discount off your total ticket. So come join us. Let's have some fun. Everyone's a winner. Everyone will save. Come join us for the Madness of March, and that's only at Gorey's Furniture.
When driving, stay sober, not stoned. Alabama has a code of the road, and knowing it helps you follow it. This is a message from your Alabama Department of Transportation.
Welcome back to Sports Blitz Live, presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. About 45 minutes left in tonight's show. Again, we want to thank all of you for joining us out there, wherever it is that you tune us in. These conferences, Luke, I mean, the names don't mean anything anymore. I mean, the Big Ten long sprinted past 10 members. It's the Big 18 now. I know. When is that going to change? I think we've talked about all this other stuff. Could we see conferences be abolished? These names gone for good?
Well, the thing to remember is like the SEC is kind of its own entity, that makes its own money. And like they all sort of split some other revenue. But I think the SEC and the Big Ten are sort of like, hey, we're not going to just break up and let you split our profits with you guys.
Yeah.
If we have to, we'll split apart,
right,
and we'll have our own thing. And I did see something today that was interesting, talking about a super conference, and there'd be 6 conferences of 10 teams each, and I think in the Southeast it was Alabama, Auburn, Tennessee, Vandy, maybe Ole Miss, Mississippi State, and I believe Kentucky and LSU. I believe. And then, so, almost sort of the original SEC, right? And then there was a Atlantic or whatever, and that
right,
would be Florida and Clemson and Florida State and Miami. And so we're sort of, the more things change, the more they remain the same. I think eventually we probably do maybe scale back, but it's going to be something after we have more expansion, and then we get everybody in a bigger group, and what they've done is culled some of those really small schools that don't really, frankly, they just don't bring a lot to the table.
No, they don't.
Do we really, why should Alabama and Auburn and Ohio State foot the bill for whatever Fresno State wants? And
well, you've been saying that for a while. I mean, I don't know what happens to those schools, to be frank. I mean, we've all been talking about this, I think, for at least 5 years, that we knew this was coming. I think I discussed that last week on here. This is not some, epiphany that's popped out of the air. We see the track this is heading, and the power brokers have all the control, and rightfully so. They're the ones that, again, going back to our conversation about what are you worth? Well, Ohio State and Georgia and Alabama and Florida and Auburn and Tennessee, and those teams should carry way more weight in decision making and things. I think we all know we're going down the path of a super league at some point in time, and we just don't know when that is. Now, again, it seems like we're losing everything what we've all held on to, in our lives. That the SEC, the camaraderie, the rivalries, and all that. It's just we're all holding on to hope. We want the old school things that we had back in the day that just aren't there anymore. And I think the next thing to go are these conference names. I think they'll be regrouped. Now, again, I know there's a lot of legal stuff involved in that. It's not just, okay, we're going to change the name and going to take these schools in. I know there's a lot more to it, but Luke, I mean, don't you agree? This is where we're going. I mean, it's just.
I think what's going to happen, we're going to have more contraction by expansion. What I mean is, we're going to have fewer conferences at first, and then as the SEC will absorb some more,
right,
Big Ten will absorb some more, and then eventually you end up with sort of a mini NFL, right? And then maybe everybody can have a discussion about, all right, now we've sort of got the main players in there. Now let's figure out what to do. But even in that system, I think you'll have somebody like an Ohio State or an Alabama say, hey, we're the 2 biggest brands in the whole deal, sort of like the Dallas Cowboys. Like, we want to maintain some of our own rights. Yes, we will split up everything evenly to an extent, and then we want to maintain our own right to do blank. And, you know, the Cowboys can do that. Now, the Tennessee Titans benefit by just being in the league with Dallas, but we know the Titans, as valuable as they are, aren't even close to what Dallas is, right? No matter how successful either franchise is. So I think that's what we're headed towards. And, again, I can live with it, except what we're all about to live with. The days of going 11-2 or 10-3 or something like that and being like, hey, what a year. You know, it's, we probably shouldn't play for a national championship. We lost 3 games. Those days are going to be over. It's going to be like, hey, we went
to the playoffs.
We went 8-6, and here we are with a chance to win a national championship. A lot like NC State, which had no business being in the NCAA tournament, but because they got hot at the end, people are like, well, they deserve it. But what we're forgetting is because they were hot for 5 days, we just discount the rest of the year. That's why I've always been against.
Had to make a miracle shot.
I've always been against that, because I'm like, hey, as cool of a story it is for NC State to be there, and I appreciate the drama and the cool story. What I don't think is it's fair to another team that kicked butt during the year and they get booted because NC State got hot for 5 days. I don't like that, but I digress. What I'm saying is that's how it's going to be, and we're going to have – look, as Nick Saban said when I went to see him speak about a month and a half ago, he said the NFL wants every team to go 8-8. They want everybody to go 8-8 and then, have the playoffs and then, you crown a champion, whatever. But see, as a fan of the sport, I don't want that.
Yeah, who wants your team to lose 8 games?
Well, look at another. Who wants my team to only win 8 games?
Well, that's what I'm saying.
It's just but look at it either way. It's bad to me. And if
don't you just have a bunch of meh?
If my team is 8-8, and we don't get in the playoffs, I'd be like, yeah, we don't deserve it. But as the NFL is right now, you can have a losing record. All you got to do is win your crap division,
right?
And you get in. And I don't. Again, that's me. A lot of people may.
Well, why do we need another NFL? This kind of comes full circle. College was unique. College was its own brand, and what made it so much fun is the loyalty and the rivalries and the pageantry of what tailgating is, and everybody's got a niche, and everybody's got a rival, and just all that. Now it's just a bunch of dadgum pro stuff.
And it's not NFL tailgating where we jump off of cars onto card tables.
It ain't the Mafia. It ain't the Buffalo Mafia.
And again, there's a place for that, I guess. But our tailgating's pretty fun, at least in the South. I mean, you think about the Grove. I mean, that's the definition of tailgating. To me, everybody can go and have a good time, maybe have a few spirits before the game, a few spirits after the game, then you go to the house.
That's right.
Nobody has to go home with a dislocated shoulder because you jumped on a folding table. But and
now
I'm with
some
you.
frats might get in a fight, but that's expected.
And you say, why do we need another NFL?
We don't.
We kind of don't, but I guess if you're the NFL, and this is where part of me wishes the NFL had sort of gotten involved, even if it were behind closed doors. Again, this is another case where I wish this had happened, and I wish I didn't know it happened. Okay, where the NFL could have gotten involved and say, look, y'all are essentially a feeder system for us.
Right.
Y'all have terrible leadership. Let us try to help y'all, guide y'all away. You're going to have to pay these dudes at some point.
Right.
It's coming. You're making too much money. Just like we had to start paying more.
Right.
It's coming. So let's figure out a way that can work for everybody and that can work for the players, so they don't. When the power shift comes, it's not a total pendulum swing to the other end.
Right.
But again, and I think the NFL would have probably been better off doing that, because college is a free feeder system for them. Okay.
It is, no doubt.
Now, but NFL,
we've known that for a long time.
I would have loved the NFL to even say something. And again, don't discount how powerful the NFL is. It's the most powerful league by a long shot. And they could have said stressed the importance of getting an education still. Maybe incentivize kids that are on the cusp of coming out to stay in school.
Right.
Incentivize people for not transferring. Maybe you come up with a way to say, like, if you don't transfer, you get some kind of
Didn't
bonus.
the NBA kind of, I mean, the one and done still sucks, but the NBA, you used to could come out of high school, Kobe Bryant, Kevin Garnett, and now they said, no, can't do that anymore.
LeBron.
Yeah, can't do that anymore. So, I mean,
And they tried to
sometimes
do-
the upper league needs to step in and maybe make some rules.
And I don't know if the one and done has helped at all. Maybe,
No, I don't think it has.
And it really is delaying the inevitable. And here's the other thing: basketball is completely different. We've seen it time and time and time again that a LeBron James at age 17, 16 can go in the NBA and be very competitive. Shaquille and Moses Malone could do it. But in the NFL, when you're 18, I can't think of an 18-year-old. We can all joke about it. We've seen guys that are just like built like you wouldn't believe in high school and go, man, he could play for the Patriots right now. No, he couldn't. No, he couldn't. Because going from high school to what he's going to be demanded to do is a different animal.
Get obliterated.
In basketball, I mean, if you are look, you can play basketball until you're about my age, or you can play with guys. We had a guy playing yesterday that was about 15. He was awesome. Now there were some things he couldn't do.
Yeah, right.
But because he's only 15, but he was pretty doggone good. If he was trying to play in the NFL at 15, he'd be dead. We'd be calling an ambulance.
Exactly.
So
I'm with you.
Again, we don't need to. That doesn't work across all sports. And so, I really would have liked to have seen everybody get ahead of this thing. But it is where it is now, and I think everything's in a lot of trouble. That being said, Brett, you know what? We're still watching it.
Yeah, I'll be honest though, man. I don't seem to be as passionate as I used to be. I'll be honest with you. And I've had a lot of conversations with other people saying, you know what? Yeah, I'm still gonna watch. I'll still pull for them. I'm not gonna get bent out of shape if we lose. Heck, don't even know who half the guys are. And we study it more than the average fan because this is what we do. But it's the truth that your average fan out there, they're not going to be really consumed by the result of the game. They want to go and hang out at the tailgate spot and eat and drink and then maybe go into a suite, do all this kind of stuff, watch a little bit of the going, and go, okay, I'm going. What are we doing after the game? I mean, it's not about the you're sitting on the edge of your seat and Auburn's playing Georgia and it's coming down to the end. I mean, the average fan is losing a little bit of the connection because of all this junk.
Yeah, I think that's very true. And, it's just funny how you were saying that about the suites and all that.
Right.
I mean, maybe it was better back. One of my favorite pictures of me and my nuclear family back then was me and my dad and my brother and my mom sitting in the freezing cold of the 92 SEC championship game.
Mm-hmm.
And now, I mean, I know, like, if things were there's now, I know a lot of people, maybe me included, would be like, I'm not going unless I get lucky with a suite.
Correct.
But there was something about being out in that freezing cold all with us that was kind of cool. And in a way, Reed's back there doing our production, right?
Yep.
And there's part of me that envies Reed in the sense that he has decided to latch onto the Birmingham Stallions. Okay? And we know the Birmingham Stallions is sort of right, it's in a fledgling league, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I've been to some games.
There's a really good chance in 5 years. There's a really good chance in 5 years they don't even exist anymore.
They may not. But what I'm saying is, so right now he's out there suffering with all the players.
No, right. No, I get it.
Because when I go to the game, I've been to a few Stallions games. They're not even close to full. I enjoy it. But, I mean, it's sort of milling about. Nobody's living and dying.
It's the Atlanta Braves in the 80s.
Right. But, I mean, I'm glad to see that there are some people out there latching onto it and saying, all right, I'm going to ride this thing. And if it becomes successful, then I was in on the ground floor.
Sure.
There's part of that that's cool. That's why I've always hated the Braves, by the way.
Right.
Because to me, they've had the most fair weather fans there's ever been. I mean, they were absolutely pathetic for so long. You couldn't hit a 9-iron in there and not come close to anybody. And then they win 10 divisions in a row.
Right, exactly.
And everybody's like, I've just loved the Braves all my life. No, you haven't. No, you haven't. Stop lying.
You didn't love them when Bruce Sutter was out there.
No, when Bob Horner was out there, he'd have a barbecue sandwich in one hand and a baseball glove on the other.
All right, John said, speaking of the Braves, I know you wanted this update, 1-0 in the fourth. Auburn up on Georgia Tech 11-8 in the seventh. UAB up on Alabama 4-2 in the top of the eighth. John said, ask Indiana State at 31-6 going to the NIT. I guess going back to the tournament.
Well, that's, I mean, look, two things about this. Number one, if it were up to me, Indiana State wouldn't even be involved in the NCAA tournament because I would condense it more and play the biggest and the best, number one. But because they are involved, they got royally hosed by NC State winning that conference tournament. Royally hosed. There's no other way to put it. And everybody's just okay with it because we're like, well, if you don't do that, then the conference tournament doesn't mean anything. Let's just get rid of the conference tournament.
Yeah, we've talked about that for a while. John said, Luke, I was in the end zone where Bama's DB intercepted and scored. That was Langham. Right, yeah. Antonio Langham. He said, I can't recall his name. It's Antonio Langham. See
you
there,
can't
John?
Recall Antonio Langham?
See, John, I'm not an Alabama person, and I even knew that, so he just couldn't recall it. He said, nobody wants to watch a bunch of prima donnas. It's that simple. I mean, I get it too, man. I totally understand where everybody's coming from. I'm to the point where all of this is causing your diehard fans to say what you just said. I'll just watch it on TV. I don't want to go down there. And if I go down there, it's because I want to socialize. It's not because of the game. All of the rivalry stuff, we want to continue to make this thing seem like it was back in the 70s and 80s when we were growing up. It's not, man. It's not. It's not even the 90s, in the 2000s. It's totally changed. And those players, the James Bostick's of the world on the 93 undefeated Auburn team, the Antonio Langhams and the George Teagues would never have dreamed of transfer.
But isn't there something fun
Never dreamed of transfer.
And then there's something fun about the 93 Auburn team if you're an Auburn fan. Like, you couldn't watch them on TV. You had to go.
Yeah, you had to.
And otherwise, you listen on radio. And part of me is like, yeah, those days were kind of cool. I mean, I appreciate the TV. But God almighty, we got every angle now from every which way. And two other things, Brett. Number one,
we ruin everything.
We were talking about, you were talking about just fandom in general. And, of course, I went to the Final Four. And, I mean, I've been yearning for it all my life for Alabama to go. And I loved it. And it was a great experience. The atmosphere was great. Thrilled to death we now have that, notch on the bedpost. But there is something that was bothering me about it, and I couldn't put my finger on it. It was kind of antiseptic in the sense that this gigantic, cavernous, huge monstrosity of a building, and we're playing basketball, and, I had pretty good seats, and I still couldn't see everything the way I needed to see it. And if we had played it just where the Suns play, at the Footprint Center, it would have been.
But they ain't going to do that.
But they won't do that because then you don't have the 74,000.
You're losing all that money.
I understand. I'm just saying, like, when we do these things, when we build these palatial suites, which hypocritically I love going to, when I have a friend that invites me to the suite, I can't do anything but, thank them enough. But when we do all this type of stuff, we do take away from the what it's all about. And, it's the same thing in high school. We talk about it in Texas especially, but, we've seen, like, Thompson has this unbelievable campus now. But there was something about, when we call, when I went to call BRHS for you guys this year, called BRHS against Chilton County.
Yeah.
It wasn't the best facility in the world, but I dug it. I was like, I didn't expect it to be. It shouldn't be. I'm going to call a high school game in 6A football in Alabama.
Right.
I shouldn't have to have a pass and, walk through a metal detector.
Right.
And then, be able to get nachos with feta cheese. I should get nachos with that melted yellow stuff. We ain't really sure what it is. That's what I should get.
Right.
Tostitos from a bag.
Yeah.
And a hot dog that somebody from the Kiwanis Club cooked. That's what I should get.
Right. I totally agree with that. And I think, we want to upscale everything based on the highest level of whatever it is. So the NFL, high school, if we got the money, why can't we? And again, it's not saying that we don't want our schools to aspire to have the best and all that, but why do we have to fast forward everything? Why does a kid play in a facility in high school better than maybe a junior college he gets recruited to? And that's part of it. But we're grasping at straws.
No, we're not. I'm going to tell you two other things. That first of all, I thought about this. That when I went to Indian Springs, in Birmingham, right?
Right.
And I loved it. It was a great experience. But one of the things that I loved about it, Brett, was that I was isolated. Now, this, obviously, when I went there, it wasn't cell phones or whatever. We had like 3 payphones, and if I wanted to call my parents, it was just potluck. And I had to call collect.
Right.
And by God, if I got them, I got them. If I didn't, I didn't. We didn't have any TVs in the rooms. We didn't have anything like that. And so there was something about that I always loved, like just being isolated, and you had to be friends with who you were friends with. And
right.
Maybe some of them were goofy, but by God, maybe I was goofy. Maybe they thought of me as that. So, but now I go there, and again, it's great now, and everybody needs all these advances, but you got the dorms different. Everybody's got televisions and phones and computers.
So much, I know.
Got everything you want.
We're over-sensationalized is what you were looking for.
Well, and I'm saying, like, nobody has to do anything to rough it. I'm not saying I have the roughest life. I'm just saying.
I know, but you're right. But there's something to be said about plain Jane, plain and simple. Here's what you get at this stage of your life.
Yeah.
Now you can build up to it. If you get everything right out of the womb, what is there to strive? I mean, and I'm being a little bit overzealous with that, but like going to an Auburn football game in that middle section up there, I don't know what the name of it is, can't think of it, but you walk out of the lounge area where you got all these food options and drink options. I know people pay a lot of money to be in that section, but you walk down to your own leather recliner with a flat screen TV for you in front of you, sitting on the 50-yard line watching the football game. So, yeah, I guess in between plays you can scroll around and watch a Andy Griffith episode or Heat of the Night, or if you get bored or whatever. I mean, but
Catch another game.
Well, yeah, that's what you're doing. And I understand it's the luxury of getting people to the game and preventing them from sitting at home saying, look, I just watched 3 or 4 games at home, I want to come. Well, you entice them through these luxury boxes and all that, but that's what we're dealing with now, man.
The other thing is, so Mountain Brook, where I live now, they have their Little League Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Where all these Little League, and they televise it. And I was thinking, when I was younger and we used to play over at Hampline Stadium, and they had bleachers that I think the Romans built right before they were about to fight the Greeks. Everything's crumbling. Our jerseys were just like the same jersey. Some dude had on my jersey 3 jerseys, 3 years ago.
Right.
And so, same thing with the shoulder pads. There's something about that's not bad.
They want to fast forward.
And now we've got to see the movie Vacation was great because we saw Cousin Eddie's homemade ketchup. If Cousin Eddie had just had Heinz, that movie's not as funny. You know what I'm saying? Every now and again, you got to rough it somehow. You got to have Cousin Eddie's ketchup every now and again.
No doubt. Well, we got to get Cousin Eddie out to break again. We have just discarded a lot of it's our fault, man.
You remember the old days we used to have commercials?
Yeah. We about to have them right now. Stay tuned. More to come right after this.
If you're tired of the same old and you're hungry for something really good, then it's time to go to JR's Sports Bar and Grill. JR's has the best fingers and wings around, and their menu is loaded with appetizers, burgers, salads, and so much more. Follow JR's on their Facebook to keep up with their live music events and drink specials. And if after a long day you just want to stay in, remember JR's delivers. Call in your order at 256-329-2328. JR Sports Bar and Grill, 145 Alabama Street in Alexander City.
Inspired by the bold bison, Southern Union students blaze new trails every single day. They press forward knowing their SU education will lead them to success. Affordable, accessible, and locally unparalleled. Whether you're transitioning to a university or launching straight into a lucrative career, a degree from SU SDC can help you blaze your path. 3 locations, dedicated faculty and staff, endless possibilities. It's all waiting for you at Southern Union. It's time to venture forward. Register today.
Lee Apparel is your go-to vendor for screen printed and embroidered apparel and promotional products. We print and embroider free custom-made graphics or outsourced designs on everything from t-shirts, headwear, corporate wear, team sportswear, high-end safety apparel, and promotional products. At Lee Apparel, you can always expect quick turnaround time, competitive pricing, friendly customer service, and free in-hands delivery on all orders. Visit us at leeapparel.com to get started.
They say we live in an age of big data, where computers and fancy algorithms are supposed to know you best. But at Country Financial, We know helping you own your future requires, well, something much bigger. Contact your local Country Financial representative and start planning for your future with a personal touch.
When you need an automotive hero, you got to call S&S Discount Tire Pros. With locations in Alexander City and Dayville, we are here to serve you today. From quick services like oil changes and tire rotations to in-depth automotive repairs such as suspensions, brakes, and tune-ups, S&S can take care of all your tire needs. You just have to focus on what's important and love the drive. Call S&S Discount Tire Pros today. We are automotive heroes, and we are here to serve you.
Truckloads of fresh inventory are rolling into Glenn Smith GMC in Opelika, like this powerful all-new GMC Sierra 1500 SLT, now available with up to $13,000 off. Purchase the roomy GMC Terrain SLT, discounted up to $97.50 off, and the GMC Acadia AT4 all-wheel drive, discounted up to $8,000 off. Enjoy no payments till the end of summer at Glenn Smith GMC. Over 350 new and used vehicles on the lot or on the way.
Get ready to smile.
OGS Tournaments presents Crank for Bank. Win over $1.6 million in cash and prizes. Over 200 tag bass and 75 tag crappie are waiting to be caught by you in Lake Martin. Register now online at crankforbank.com for only $120. All ages are welcome. Fish from the dock, boat, or the shores of Lake Martin to win over $1.6 million in cash and prizes. It's Crank for Bank.
There's a new standard for the marine industry on Lake Martin, being set by Momentum Marine Lake Martin. Momentum Marine is located at the Blue Creek Bridge on Highway 49 South. Stop by soon and meet Les and the staff. While you're here, take a look at our extensive line of boats. Momentum Marine carries Crest, Manitou, Centurion, Monterey, and Robalo boats. Whatever your boating needs or dreams, the pros in Momentum will help you find the perfect boat. Be sure to ask about our brand new rental fleet. Stop by Momentum soon and experience the difference. Let Momentum Marine show you how to experience freedom on the water.
At C&T Electric, our clients are our priority. For the safety and security of your family and home, our technicians are professionally trained, drug tested, background checked, and wear uniforms with name tags. We're proud to have served the Elk City, Dadeville, and Lake Martin areas for the past 10 years. Give us a call at 256-234-0007 for all your electrical service and repair needs, or visit us on the web at www.cntelectricllc.com and spell out the word "and."
The food at Oscar's Cafe makes your mouth water. At Oscar's, enjoy great tasting catfish, or maybe you're just in the mood for one of Oscar's fresh salads. Even kids know the place for a fine meal is Oscar's with a great kids menu. Oscar's also has great tasting burgers full of backyard flavor. So come on out to Oscar's Cafe for great food and homegrown hospitality. We're located on Highway 49 South in Dadeville, just before the Blue Creek Bridge. And remember, it's all fun and games till there's only one cheese ball left.
Inspired by the bold bison, Southern Union students blaze new trails every single day. They press forward knowing their SU education will lead them to success. Affordable, accessible, and locally unparalleled. Whether you're transitioning to a university or launching straight into a lucrative career, a degree from SU SDC can help you blaze your path. 3 locations, dedicated faculty and staff, endless possibilities. It's all waiting for you at Southern Union. It's time to venture forward. Register today.
OGS Tournaments presents Crank for Bank. Win over $1.6 million in cash and prizes. Over 200 tag bass and 75 tag crappie are waiting to be caught by you in Lake Martin. Register now online at crankforbank.com for only $120. All ages are welcome. Fish from the dock, boat, or the shores of Lake Martin to win over $1.6 million in cash and prizes. It's Crank for Bank.
Welcome back, everyone, to Sports Blitz Live, presented by JR's Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. John said Auburn's up 12-8 in the 7th. We have an update on Alabama.
It was 5-2 in the 9th is what I saw.
Wow. So, Auburn has held on. They were up 8-0, and then it was 8-7. So, It's crazy. It is what it is for Auburn and Alabama in baseball. Again, I said this last week. It's amazing what Butch Thompson's been able to do the last 4 years at Auburn, 2 College World Series, and the cards are stacked against both programs. And until something changes, I think you'll hit some runs and you'll do some good things. But you're gonna have some years like Auburn's having right now. It's a struggle, and the pitching just hadn't panned out. Now the hitting has been good all year for the most part. They've hit well enough to win most any game. Roger said it's 12-8, and I'm assuming the Auburn game is still 12-8. But again, I hate it because again I know baseball isn't as popular obviously as football and basketball, but you still want your programs to do well. You don't want to see them at the bottom. And you're starting to see a little bit with Alabama in softball. They're not near as dominant as they used to be. And then,
in Auburn again last night.
Yeah, so, I mean, just, and Patrick Murphy didn't wake up and forget how to coach. I mean, the guy's won over 1,000 games. I mean, it's just sometimes you do not you don't have an even playing field. And, again, it's not an excuse. It sounds like sour grapes, but it just kind of is what it is at this point.
And going back to what we said, I guess part of me is like that's why, if Auburn makes the College World Series like they did,
right?
Did they make it last year?
2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Yep.
That's why it feels a little better.
I know.
It's like you accomplished a little.
Well, they
more.
had to do a lot more than the other team that made it most of the time. That's kind of the way that works. So. I'll fast forward at the end of the month. You've got the NFL draft. You love the NFL draft. I watched the NFL draft. Andy hates it. Randy didn't even know what happens. There's a lot of that with the rest of our group. So it's really kind of you and me as far as following the NFL draft. What is it? The 26th and 27th, I believe.
So it's a week from Thursday.
That's what I'm saying. So it's next Thursday.
Yeah, so I said I hate this time of year. That is one thing I do love. I mean, it sort of brings football back into my life for a little bit. It's been especially a lot more fun with Alabama having so many guys go into the league. Dallas Turner looks like he's going to be headed to Atlanta Falcons, barring some trades. And this thing may get a little nutty because those quarterbacks at the top, Caleb Williams and Jaden Daniels, and then the kid from North Carolina, Drake May. A lot of people are going to be vying for him, and I think it's a golden opportunity. Look, I've been
7 teams with 6 quarterbacks and your chance to make the perfect NFL.
And I'm going to tell you, I feel like a lot of people believe Caleb Williams is just a pick and no-brainer.
I'm not sure he is.
I'm telling you, if I were the Bears, I would have traded down. And
he's bad-mouthed them the whole time.
Well, he's bad-mouthed them. I mean, the whole fingernail polish thing to me is a little odd.
He's gotten a little
he hadn't really won anything of much consequence at USC or at Oklahoma. But
who are you taking first?
I think he's incredibly talented.
Who are you taking first?
I would probably take Jaden Daniels first. Yeah. Now, you can say, well, he hadn't won anything either. But, I mean, I watched him play in the toughest conference.
Does this size worry you a little bit?
I mean, I guess look, in the end, how many times does a prototypical guy come out and they bust?
I know.
I think you just got to go with what you believe. I mean, you can do all the measurable stuff you want to, and that's important. I mean, and those can be tiebreakers. But I'm watching Jaden Daniels, and I'm watching the way he carried that LSU squad that had no defense. I mean, he had no help. Now, he had 2 great receivers. He did. But, he's just a dude. I really like him a lot. I like Drake May a lot, too. I think Caleb Williams is very good. I just don't understand why the Bears abandoned all hope with Justin Fields.
I don't think it was
got very little back for him.
Right.
And now they could have kept Fields, drafted, traded down, probably gotten 2 first-round picks this year and a first-round next year.
I think Justin Fields can still be a really good quarterback in NFL.
I mean, are you only going to give Caleb Williams as much time as you gave Justin Fields?
Yeah, I mean, not
and also, by the way, he didn't have a ton of help out there in Chicago.
No, zero.
I mean,
zero.
Chicago they had at least one.
But their offensive
receiver.
line was horrific.
Yeah, I mean,
just absolutely terrible. And again, it's not always the quarterback, man. I mean, they catch the blame when it's bad, and they get the praise when it's good. But man, I'm telling you, it's not all Justin Fields. All right, we got to get to our last break. Stay tuned. One final segment right after this.
76% of nurses say they went into the profession because they wanted to help patients. No matter the reason you decided to become a nurse, you have all the tools needed to advance your degree at Jacksonville State University. Our Master's in Nursing program is now offered fully online and can be completed in less than 2 years. You can customize a flexible course schedule so you can receive your advanced education degree all while working on the front line. JSU Nursing, your opportunity to advance your career and serve your community.
When drinking, take a sober ride home, not someone's life. Alabama has a code of the road, and knowing it helps you follow it. This is a message from your Alabama Department of Transportation.
At Russell Medical, we're proud of our exceptional nurses, like Nurse Brandy Worthy. Brandy represents the selfless, compassionate clinical leader patients expect and coworkers admire. Brandy was recently honored with the Nightingale Award for Nursing Excellence for her high standards, sound judgment, and caring manner. Her passion for her profession inspires us all.
Being a nurse is not just what you do, it's who you are. I'm proud to be a part of the nursing team at Russell Medical. We are the link between all hospital services, providing you with exceptional, personalized care.
If you're tired of the same old, and you're hungry for something really good, then it's time to go to JR's Sports Bar and Grill. JR's has the best fingers and wings around, and their menu is loaded with appetizers, burgers, salads, and so much more. Follow JR's on their Facebook to keep up with their live music events and drink specials. And if after a long day you just want to stay in, remember JR's delivers. Call in your order at 256-329-2328. JR Sports Bar and Grill, 145 Alabama Street in Alexander City.
Main Street Family Urgent Care. Main Street Family Care offers a wide array of services that allows them to treat many conditions, and they also offer primary care. In addition to these services, they also offer DOT physical exams, lab testing, sports physicals, and vaccines. They accept most major insurance plans, including Medicaid. Main Street Family Care, open 7 days a week.
Main Street Family Urgent Care. Heal better, feel better fast.
SignSource is your local vendor for commercial and residential sign manufacturing and installation. We offer all kinds of lighted and non-lighted signage, from retail signs, LED message centers, event banners, vehicle wraps, the whole spectrum. We also offer service and repair on existing signs, as well as retrofitting to LED or installation of outsourced signage. We have the knowledge necessary to fulfill all of your signage needs in the short or long term. Visit signsourcenow.com to get started.
Fill your tank, not your wine glass. What? Why is there a wine glass in your car? Alabama has a code of the road, and knowing it helps you follow it. This is a message from your Alabama Department of Transportation.
Welcome back, everyone. Final segment here on Sports Blitz Live. We'll remind everybody, we'll be back with you tomorrow for Auburn Blitz at noon. I know a lot of you tune in during your lunch hour, watch the replays of that. Again, just to kind of give you an update, hopefully Andy still making progress. It seems like he's getting a lot better. But he's had a rough start to the 2024 year. Been sick most of the time, so we're hoping that he's getting better from that and coming back around. Hopefully he'll be back on there soon. I know a lot of you have asked about him. All right, so just kind of closing out, Luke, here on this segment. We got to get out here in a couple minutes. Just kind of your thoughts overall moving forward on this, kind of recapping the NIL for college. I know the organizations, the conferences and all that meet every summer. We're about to be in that mode. I mean, the Big Ten and the SEC are trying to form this advisory council. They got to get going on this thing, man. I think the sport's in jeopardy. I really do, as we know it. I don't think it'll ever be like what it was when we grew up. But to salvage some semblance of what it's like to have college athletics as we know it, they better get on the stick trying to fix some of this stuff.
Yeah, I'm very.
And I don't know who they is, by the way.
Yeah, I don't know that. That's another problem is we don't know who they is. It feels like there isn't any leadership. And really the leadership probably doesn't pay as well. I mean, as being a commentator, as
Right.
And if you are like a television commentator like Nick Saban, shoot, he's already going to start at the NFL draft. There's no telling what he's making from ESPN. He has no risk. And if you say,
man, who cares?
I think so-and-so's going to go first. Uh-oh, he didn't. Okay, what's the risk? I mean, it's a lot easier.
They're going to roll a guy up there. Here's the funny thing. They're going to roll a guy up there who ain't watched the NFL in 20 years.
Yeah. Well,
to be an analyst about the NFL.
Now,
That's the funny
he
thing.
can talk about the.
He can talk about some of the
college
prospects.
play,
Yeah,
but
right.
You're right. He might not necessarily know what every team needs.
Right.
And
well, he'll have people give him
somebody
some
will tell
insight
him
on that. So, all right, that's going to wrap it up for Sports Blitz Live here again. We appreciate everybody. Thanks to JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air, our two corporate partners on the program for a long time. And again, always been a pleasure coming to you out there, wherever it is that you tune us in each and every Tuesday night. We'll be back with you again next Tuesday for another edition of Sports Blitz Live. For Luke, I'm Brett saying we've enjoyed it. Well, PF. See you next time.
If you listen carefully, you'll hear the roads of Alabama calling. And Sarah Honda has your answer. Serving you for over 40 years with one of the largest Honda and pre-owned inventories in the state and the Sarah Promise. Our best deal when you buy or trade, a 72-hour exchange policy, a no-hassle trade-in promise. Written offers are good for 7 days. And our best service promise. Our factory-certified technicians help keep your vehicle running smoothly. That's why Alabama can be yours to discover in a new vehicle from Sarah Honda in Sylacauga.
Farmers and Merchants Bank of Dadeville is building a foundation of strength and trust in the entire Lake Martin community. With our modern branch in Dadeville and caring, attentive staff, we've established Farmers and Merchants Bank as a reliable friend to your banking needs. Whether it's just a savings or checking account or any commercial, auto, or real estate loan, Farmers has local decision-making to build a relationship with you and your needs. Farmers and Merchants Community Bank. Strength, service, community.
Lee Apparel is your go-to vendor for screen printed and embroidered apparel and promotional products. We print and embroider free custom-made graphics or outsourced designs on everything from t-shirts, headwear, corporate wear, team sportswear, high-end safety apparel, and promotional products. At Lee Apparel, you can always expect quick turnaround time, competitive pricing, friendly customer service, and free in-hands delivery on all orders. Visit us at leeapparel.com to get started.
This is Kalijah Country, Lake Martin's best country. Kalijah Country 97.5.
Country look good on you. Tearing up an old two-lane two. Way down in Alabama, where they love Nick Saban. Trying to write a song, the local country station will play.
Lake Martin's best country. Kalijah Country 97.5.
There's a new standard for the marine industry on Lake Martin, being set by Momentum Marine Lake Martin. Momentum Marine is located at the Blue Creek Bridge on Highway 49 South. Stop by soon and meet Les and the staff. While you're here, take a look at our extensive line of boats. Momentum Marine carries Crest, Manitou, Centurion, Monterey, and Robalo boats. Whatever your boating needs or dreams, the pros in Momentum will help you find the perfect boat. Be sure to ask about our brand new rental fleet. Stop by Momentum soon and experience the difference. Let Momentum Marine show you how to experience freedom on the water.
Are you waking up in the morning with a sore jaw, headaches, maybe even ringing in your ears, all because you're grinding and clenching your teeth at night? That's exactly what was going on with me. That's when I found this, the Brux Night Guard. Now, the Brux Night Guard redirects the bite force away from the back teeth, reducing jaw pain while still protecting the teeth. This unique design is what makes Brux Night Guard different from all other traditional grind guards. Go to bruxnightguard.com and order yours today.
This is Kalijah Country, Lake Martin's best country. Kalijah Country 97.5.
Country look good on you. Tearing up an old two-lane two. Way down in Alabama, where they love Nick Saban. Trying to write a song, the local country station will play.
Lake Martin's best country. Kalijah Country 97.5.
There's a new standard for the marine industry on Lake Martin, being set by Momentum Marine Lake Martin. Momentum Marine is located at the Blue Creek Bridge on Highway 49 South. Stop by soon and meet Les and the staff. While you're here, take a look at our extensive line of boats. Momentum Marine carries Crest, Manitou, Centurion, Monterey, and Robalo boats. Whatever your boating needs or dreams, the pros in Momentum will help you find the perfect boat. Be sure to ask about our brand new rental fleet. Stop by Momentum soon and experience the difference. Let Momentum Marine show you how to experience freedom on the water.
Are you waking up in the morning with a sore jaw, headaches, maybe even ringing in your ears, all because you're grinding and clenching your teeth at night? That's exactly what was going on with me. That's when I found this, the Sportz Night Guard. Now, the Sportz Night Guard redirects the bite force away from the back teeth, reducing jaw pain while still protecting the teeth. This unique design is what makes Sportz Night Guard different from all other traditional grind guards. Go to BruxNightGuard.com and order yours today.
Lee Apparel is your go-to vendor for screen-printed and embroidered apparel and promotional products. We print and embroider free custom-made graphics or outsourced designs on everything from t-shirts, headwear, corporate wear, team sportswear, high-end safety apparel, and promotional products. At Lee Apparel, you can always expect quick turnaround time, competitive pricing, friendly customer service, and free in-hands delivery on all orders. Visit us at leeapparel.com to get started.